Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ask the AD with Jerry Bovee, the Athletic Director at Weber State. I'm Paul Grua, Director of Athletic Communications. Jerry, thanks for joining us for our third installment of Ask the AD.
It's great to be here. Let's get after it.
There has been a lot going on. It never seems to end. It seems like there's always something going on. Big news came down recently in the Big Sky that the basketball men's and women's championships will now go to Reno, Nevada as a neutral site for 3 years. Will you talk about that whole process? I know Weber State put in a bid as well. Talk about the process of moving the tournament to Reno.
Well, I think the process was good, actually. The discussion started about a year and a half ago with the men's basketball coaches coming to Las Vegas with the athletic directors in the conference and just having a dialogue about what the vision for our tournament would be. You know, we've seen over the last couple years some confusion or difficulty in getting to sites. I go back to when we didn't know until the very last week on those years where it was between us and Montana hosting the tournament. Montana hosts at the very last, it comes down to the last game of the season, and teams are trying to get to Missoula. We had booked our flights in the event that, this is not our first rodeo, and so we had booked flights in the event that we were going to go there, so we had no problem getting there. But I know NAU, and I've talked about this, bus to Minneapolis, or flew to Minneapolis and took a sleeper bus over. It was just difficult to get there for a lot of people. So that discussion was going on. There was a feeling that by the coaches initially that they wanted to brand the tournament better, and there was discussion about going to Las Vegas. So we looked at that as an option. There's just too much noise in March in Vegas. So at that point we started a bid process. We did put a bid in. We didn't get the bid. I thought we did a nice job in talking to those that were on the committee. Our bid was nice. Financially it was right in line, but what it came down to is a neutral site. And in the end that won out for the decision to go to Reno.
Yeah, neutrality seemed to be the overriding thing. Another big change about that is now that all 12 teams will go to the tournament, regardless of record. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I see the thinking behind it in the sense that if you're going to promote a tournament and try to really sell tickets from the get-go, from the beginning of the season, it's pretty tough to do that if you don't know if you're going. So going to a neutral site, I can see the wisdom in trying to get all the teams there. Many conferences do it that way. I don't think all do, but certainly if you're going to go to a neutral site, having all teams in and being able to sell tickets from day one is a better scenario. Now, we're a bit of a hybrid because the top 4 teams will get a bye, and you'll have 8 teams playing on the men's and women's side the first 2 days to get into that, for 4 spots to play the top 4 seeds. So your first 4 days are going to be 4 game days on the men's and women's side back to back. There's a lot of basketball to be played. And I think we'll be the only conference to have a setup with men's and women's there in a 12-team format. The Pac-12 separates the weeks out. So it will be a busy week, and there'll be a lot of things that need to be done now that we know where the site is. But for us, it is what it is, and we're excited to be a part of it. And so at this point, we're going to sell tickets and try to get Wildcat fans en masse to come down and support the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that in March. Another thing that happened recently was Weber State held its commencement, largest class in the history of the school, and 58 former student athletes or current student athletes graduated from Weber State, which is what it's all about here, of course. And among those was Damian Lillard, who came back and spoke, and just a great event for Weber State and the publicity that it brought to the school and university. We talk about that. Talk about not only what he does for the program, the basketball program, but also just the university in general, the publicity that he brings to it.
It was a big day, and we've been talking to Damian even as far back as last fall. There was a chance that he was going to come and do the winter graduation, but they were playing. So, in his mind, it was always, if I can get here in the spring graduation, if we're not in the playoffs that night or playing. Well, it turns out they were scheduled, but they lost Wednesday, and so he was able to fly back with the team to Portland, and then he chartered a flight for his mom and some others that he brought down with him. It was a big day. It was great for the institution. We've talked about this in some other settings, but the institutional website on average gets about 40 hits a day, 40 unique visitors, and most of those are faculty and staff getting into the portal and whatnot. But on that day, I think we had a 3 million hits on the university's website. Our social media, you posted a video on Facebook that had over 500,000 page views that day or over the weekend. All told, I think we had about 5 million hits to our social media channels, university and athletic websites. So clearly, his presence here draws a lot of attention, and we got a lot of great coverage about Weber State, on a worldwide basis for a couple of days.
No question. And again, graduation. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're employed here at the university. That's what it's all about. And 58 graduates is great to see.
That's been a focus as now we move into a new area with APR and tracking graduation rates. And I'm really proud of these student athletes. The work that we do as a department with academic advisors and the compliance staff, and really it's a team effort to give them the support. But to have 58, I think that's the most we've had maybe ever in one semester. I believe we had 14 or so in the fall. So all told, we were at around over 70 this year. So that's a big accomplishment for them, but also for our department and our coaches and our staff.
Absolutely. One last question here today. It's starting the summertime. A little slower, I guess, in the sense that there's no games, but there's always things going on. And you've got a couple of projects, especially some facility projects going on this summer. Will you talk about those?
We've got one big project going on and then a lot of little projects. The big project is that we are going to build an academic center. It'll be housed right south of the stadium. We've got an annex there that some of our coaches have been officed in. That will come down in a few weeks, and we'll begin construction on a 4,000 square foot academic center. So there'll be tutor rooms, a computer lab, a lounge area for the student athletes, a balcony. There'll be places for them to have personal and private study as well as group study. It's going to be a huge benefit to our program. It goes a long way toward reaching some of our initiatives with regard to academics, and it's a recruiting tool. We hope to have a little fueling station in there as well, so that there'll be refreshments and whatnot for the athletes. But it's a huge project for us. Over the last couple of years, we've built a lot of projects, spent a lot of dollars and raised a lot of money for these types of projects. So that's exciting for us. We're out raising money right now to name some of those rooms and even name the building, but we're going to go forward right now and hope to have that in place by Christmas. We got a lot of little projects we're doing around here. We'll have some. You can maybe hear in the background some construction going on here in the Sky Suites. We'll move coaches' offices over here to the second floor. That construction started yesterday. We hope to be able to do some things in the stadium this year with some branding. We're looking at some seat replacements in the chairback seating area. So a lot of touch-up work. We're going to do some projects in the Sky Suites. We will be doing replay this year in football with DV Sports, so we've got to create space, secured space for that in the press box. So a lot of little projects going on this summer, and that's great. It's just continuing to build what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely, and the fall season will begin in August. It'll be here before you know it, that's for sure.
It's coming quickly. So we're in the process now of doing a season ticket campaign for football, and hope that our fans will see some little tweaks this year. We're going to do 30 gifts in 30 days, kind of a promotion where if you get your season tickets early, you're in line to win some prizes, and we're trying to encourage everyone to get started early so that we know where we're at heading into the fall season. So it's exciting.
Well, great. Thanks again for joining us for another edition of Ask the AD. You can always send us questions to weberstatesports@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter and use the hashtag AskTheAD and send us your questions, and we'll talk with you again.